Well, thank you so much for being a part of the Kickstarter discussion and to all the social media engagements. Later on, we'll be referring to your words of wisdom or your, your contentions on this contraception matter for teenage girls. But away from that, we now step into the world of TechNot. We're going to be looking at the 21st century jobs and modern education, and we're privileged to be having the Vice Chancellor for Uganda Matters University, and that is Professor Patrick Chamanwa. You're most welcome, sir.
Thank you, Priscilla.
So, away from the debate of the week, we want to now first look into the realities of the matter. University education is here and before us, so we are having overhauling of curriculums in the lower secondary into upper secondary, consideration of primary, and we trust that that should translate into university. But the big question that we do have is the 21st century jobs that are quite demanding. It's not enough to have your your documents. You must have soft skills, you must have extra abilities with you, which ideally we then hope that the at university level a student can be able to pick up on. So how are the 21st century jobs in Uganda evolving compared to the rest of the world?
Thank you, Priscilla. I think what we have now is an environment that is highly technologically influenced. And that is, of course, translating into the type of jobs and the skills at the jobs that are required for someone to perform. So we are now observing, especially in some of the industries in Uganda, and you can look at, for example, the banking industry. We've seen the huge reduction in tellers in many banks. We've seen the emerging of agent banking. We've seen the emergence of ATMs. All that is transforming the job landscape in the banking industry. We may think people are losing jobs. Yes, some people will lose jobs and are losing jobs, but it's because
even the ATMs, Professor, are losing jobs, because now I no longer need to go to the ATM. I can simply transact and transfer from my account to phone. My M-wallet on my phone.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And so what that is changing is the type of jobs people should be thinking about. Because anyone who is in for a middle-level job is at risk of losing employment. Now we are looking for people who are highly skilled and able to work with technology, or even able to bring up solutions within the industry, than just to be on a routine desk job. And that is demanding. We have also seen that in the media, your industry is evolving fast. Previously, you needed to have a camera crew and all that to go to the field to cover news. These days, all you need is your mobile phone, and you can cover and make a very impressive report. So now learning how to work with that technology is the demand we are placing on our students, and it's the demand that the people in the job market should be looking at. And what does that require? It requires that even with your degree from the university, if you are in the job market, you should be aware of how to learn the new concepts that are required. Don't go to the job market and say, I graduated with this at university, and so if I don't get this job, I'm out. No, you should be able to use what you learned to learn something new.
Speaking of that education system, with Uganda Matters University, how have you been able to actually adjust your curriculum to ensure that you give students what they need for modern day employment?
That's a very good question. Thank you, Priscilla. Actually, starting this very academic year, and of course also having been fast-tracked by the National Council reports in the past months of the need to review university programs. We have used a vehicle, which is entrepreneurship. We have introduced a 3-year-long entrepreneurship module that every student should interact with. And why have we chosen entrepreneurship? It's because when you look at the 21st century skill set that is required, of critical thinking, of creativity, communication, collaboration, problem solving, working with technology. The best vehicle for us to instill that in the students is through a module of entrepreneurship. Because to be an entrepreneur, we are already sharpening your productivity faculties. And to be productive, you must know how to look for relevant information. In this day and age, you must know how to use the technology, and also you must know how to work in teams. You must know how to communicate and collaborate with people who are going to enrich your entrepreneurial idea. And you also have to be a critical thinker. You should be able to even think of how you are thinking. Think of how you are learning certain things, because as you develop your business proposal in the entrepreneurship module, all these skills have to be honed. They have to be developed.
Okay.
So through that entrepreneurship module that we are pushing for every student to have for the first 3 years, even if they have four-year programs like in engineering and law, at least the first 3 years will make them think of how they can use the skills they are learning in their program, be it law, education, business, engineering. They will learn how to be problem solvers. They will learn how to identify problems and come up with solutions. And more importantly, they will learn how to market themselves.
Okay. All those require technology integration.
Yes.
So let's talk about technological integration. How is the university actually ensuring that they adopt technological advances to help the students be prepared for the tech-centered jobs? All these putting into or factoring in the fact that it comes at a cost.
Yes, it does come in at a cost, but it's an inevitable cost. Previously, we saw a lot of demand for institutions to provide the technology to the students and to the staff. Today, we realize that that is not easy for us. Why? Because investing in technology as a university is very expensive given the pace at which technology evolves. You would have to be changing your asset stock every so often because it changes.
Yeah.
Recently, we know that Windows 7 and 10 are now almost no longer. So if you have been investing in that, the budget continues to be a burden. So we have reached out to partners as a university to, for example, for the laptop ownership. We've reached out to Centenary Bank and agreed a soft loan for students and staff to acquire laptops. Depending on their programs, they can acquire an i3, an i5, i7, and so on. And we are now requiring students to do a lot more with on their laptops. Assignments, research, blogging with their study groups, so that they can know how to use these ICT.
Okay.
However, we are also automating some of our processes. For example, signing into a lecture. We are now moving to fingerprint signing in instead of signing up on a
sheet of paper.
Yes, on a sheet of paper. We're also requiring them to be able to manage their finances. So they pay their tuition and other fees to the university using the technological advancements that are available. That way they start realizing that they are living in a world where you can no longer shy away from using technology. And that will prime them for even being able to adopt to the new technologies even as they get out to the field.
Okay.
Because once you are not intimidated by technology, then you readily pick whatever development comes up for you to be able to survive.
Speaking of which, while technology is a good thing, I also believe that it's I don't know how to put that in English, but I'm talking about skills emphasis, because with technology, it's, you know, fast-paced. It's putting in it one direction, but it takes away the emphasis on soft skills, communication skills, interpersonal skills, and, you know, those skills that are also equally very important for this person to be able to manage the high-tech environment they're going into, but we'll still have to engage with, you know, person to person at the end of the day.
Yeah, I would like to differ a little from your observation. I think technology is actually making us, or requiring of us, more than before to develop those soft skills. Reason being that even if you are dealing with technology, you will not hold yourself away in a black room. No, you still have to collaborate with people. And what we are looking at is not to use technology to replace people. We are looking at using technology to enhance people's productivity. So even as you use your phones and so on, you still have to meet up with people.
Oh, no.
So you use your
Professor,
phone.
I don't know which world you're in, but we have had interns, and I've seen interns coming into the internship room, and they're still on their gadgets. They're not even wanting to, you know, engage with the fellow interns, later on to engage with those that are meant to be training and passing on certain skills to them. So it becomes a very difficult balance.
Yes, I do appreciate that that has been, but that is because we've probably not taken measures to drive for the interaction to happen.
Okay.
So what we are doing at the university is, yes, you will go and work with your laptop, for example, or your phone on something, but then you have to come and present it to the rest of the group.
Okay.
You have to interact with them. And we also require at certain points that this assignment is done as a group and presented as a group. So everyone will go away on their laptops, do the researches and searches they have to do, but then they have to meet and agree on what they will present. That way, they are using the technology to advance their performance skill and level, but still have to come and present it with the people. And I think we need to caution that we do not see technology as a replacement, and I would like to emphasize this. We should see technology as an enhancer, as a companion, not as an obstacle to human interaction.
Speaking of obstacles, then what do you perceive as the barriers and solutions to the things that actually perceive as the main challenges in aligning the university with technology and the 21st pressure?
Oh, that would take a long discussion for me to be able to really do justice to it. But what I can say is, one is the human resource. The trainers themselves need to be trained in how to integrate technology in what they are doing. That's a key barrier, because we are using, and this we have said, and I'm sorry if it will offend anyone, but we are using 20th century teachers to train 21st century professionals using 20th century knowledge. That is also a barrier, because many faculty members are also still intimidated by the technology itself. And when you probably, you might have observed in some Zoom meetings or Teams, which is normally used in delivering the virtual lectures, you may find that people only know how to sign in and be there, but they don't know how to share a screen, they don't know how to attach a document in the chat, and all that is intimidating even to the trainer. So that's a barrier. So we've got to train the trainers. The other thing we've got to do is to make technology affordable. And in the educational sector, we are looking at things like computers, we are looking at things like simulation laboratory equipment, because, for example, in medicine, we are going a lot towards simulation. But the technology is still unaffordable. So there is that challenge of the price The other thing we have is that technology evolves fast. So we need to know which elements of technology to invest in and which elements we don't have to invest in.
Professor, which begs the question.
Yeah.
That means that there's lifelong learning. There's a lot of reskilling and upskilling.
Absolutely.
So how is the university promoting this lifelong learning?
Yes, lifelong learning is one of the skills actually for the 21st century. If you are to survive in the 21st century, you must know how to learn. You must learn how to learn. And you must also learn how to think and even think of how you think so that you know how to process the information you get, you know how to do that. So the way we are encouraging students, because these days we are trying to encourage the lecturers to flip the classroom. By flipping the classroom, we mean the lecturer becomes a facilitator. You don't appear to be the sage on the stage. Okay. Instead, you allow the students to read and teach themselves while you moderate what they are teaching themselves. Okay. So that way, they will learn how to look for information. They will learn how to sieve the information they have got to be able to find what is relevant. And in that way, we are teaching them how to learn. And we require that they come up with innovative solutions to the problems that are being put forward, using real-life problem cases that they go and search about. Okay. That way they develop the skill of learning, and they will know that if they are faced with a problem, they will know how to look for the information, how to determine which information to use, and that lifelong learning skill will have been developed. Okay,
all right. Let's talk about the university, the future vision. I know that you have had some lifelong achievements as Uganda Matters University, and you're also on to your 30th year as a university. Congratulations.
Thank you, Priscilla. Yeah, the university on the 18th of October will be celebrating 30 years of its contribution to socio-economic development in Uganda. We are not celebrating our 30 years of age. No, a university doesn't grow old. No, if a university grows old, then it is destined for extinction. Because we keep learning. We are learning organizations, and so we keep learning, we keep researching, we keep evolving, because our relevance has to be continuous. And so we shall be celebrating 30 years of that. And we've been able to register very significant landmarks and milestones. For example, the university started at Nkozi, but today we are in all the 4 ecclesiastical provinces of the Catholic Church, with campuses in Fort Portal, in Rubaga, Mengo, Mbale, in Ngeta, in Lira. So we are now spread out. That's a key milestone because we are taking our services closer to the people. We've also been able to start very unique programs, usually the first of such programs in Uganda. One that we are so proud of, and maybe another, the first is the built environment. We know that there are many universities teaching architecture, but at Uganda Matters we teach the built environment, how to deal with the built environment, integrating infrastructure with nature and the environment, which is a higher order level of architectural practice. Okay. The other we've been able to, again, champion is bachelor's and master's and PhDs in agroecology, especially in this day of climate change and environmental degradation. We are trying to develop, and we've developed professionals that are conscious about how to use environmentally sustainable agricultural practices and technologies. And that has been funded by the World Bank. We are the only private university today that holds an African Center of Excellence, which is funded by the World Bank through a loan that government has been kind to extend to us. We've also been able to come up with innovative programs with other universities internationally. And we are very proud to announce that we have a highly sought out after masters in business administration emphasizing and specializing in entrepreneurship for impact, and this we are running with the Catholic University of Milan.
Okay.
We are collaborating with 17 countries in the on the continent in Africa,
Okay.
with 26 universities, and that is a very internationally sought after program. So these milestones are some of the things we are celebrating in the 30 years, but one other unique one that comes in for Uganda Matters is that we shall be graduating our first crop of lawyers.
Ooh.
And of course, Uganda Matters has been known, and we are proud to have the brand that we churn out ethical professionals that are grounded in core values of Catholic nature, but of course which are global. And so we are looking forward to what that crop of lawyers is going to do in the legal landscape, because as you know, every sector, including the legal sector, has been infiltrated with ethical challenges.
Yeah, that's very true.
And so we pray that these lawyers will be the seed for the change.
Okay. Well, it's been a pleasure knowing all these things about the Uganda Matters University with Professor Patrick Chamanwa.
Thank you.
He's the Vice Chancellor with the university, and again, congratulations on the milestone of making 30 years of existence, influencing the 21st century jobs and modern education. So now you know the route to take. Away from that, we are going to join Stephen Bide on ground, who is also hopefully wearing a gown